This video almost didn't happen, and as I'm saying that, I feel like switching off this voiceover and doing what I wanted to do initially, but I'm gonna push through. I'm going to make this video, even though my heart and my mind is not in this, and I'm finding it very difficult to do this. I'm gonna go ahead because somebody somewhere, someone might find this useful and make their existence a little bit better, their situation a little bit better, their struggle a little bit better. Some of you guys who listen to these videos regularly would have heard a month ago in a video me talking about my grandma. She had a fall a month ago where she broke her hip. Unfortunately, then a surgery happened 4 or 5 days after that. And she hasn't really recovered from that surgery at all. And then yesterday we learned that she had a stroke. She basically lost the function of her right arm and right leg, started slurring her speech. She went to the hospital. The scans show that she's had a big stroke. And now she's basically been palliated, which means comfort measures. It's hard, it's hard to make a video like this because I frankly don't want to talk. I've spent most of the day not talking. And the only reason I'm doing this is in the hope that somebody out there is going also through a tough time, and might flick on this video and get something out of it, get some comfort, get a different perspective, and just know that you're not alone. Life seems to be just a whole bunch of misery, a whole bunch of struggle, pain, suffering. When I think about my grandma's life, this lady has suffered all her life. I remember when I was a kid, I used to think to myself, like, life is just a beautiful thing. It's vibrant, colorful, so much fun, so much to look forward to. And then you kind of start growing up, and then you start seeing what life really is. And it's just, the older that you get, the more you see that it's just a whole bunch of pain and suffering and hardship. I honestly don't understand how some people are just so tough. It's hard, it's hard, my grandma's 87 years old, so obviously we can't live forever, but it doesn't change the fact that when you're on the brink of losing somebody, it's emotional. It's when you're a kid, you don't think about death, right? And I think this is one of the most beautiful things about childhood, is that you just feel like it's just from one high to another high. It's just so much fun. You're kind of, I don't want to say the word ignorant, but you're just unaware of what this whole journey is. But now, like, especially in the career that I am, you see all sorts of like struggling, man. People are just suffering all the time, misfortunes everywhere, and you You lose one loved one, you lose another loved one. You go to one funeral, another funeral. You're surrounded by all this negativity. You flick on the TV, there's people holding on to freaking tires on a plane that's taking off, dropping down. Cruelty, hunger, all this sort of stuff is happening all around you, and you don't know where to look anymore, man. But we have to continue. We have to fight. We have to continue and use these hard lessons to guide our decisions in the future. And these hard times offer an opportunity for you to learn something. Just cherish your loved ones, man. Cherish what you got. No fortune is worth having if you don't have anyone to share it with. If you got nobody to show your Ferrari to, no one to share your joy with, it's just junk. It's just junk. Literal junk. I think about these previous generations, man, and I can't stop thinking about how hard life used to be, man. Like, we in this day and age, we live in a special time, man. Some of the stories that I'm thinking about right now that my grandma has told me, and the people around her, my Lord, man. The world wars, all the suffering, the poverty, working hard, man. Hard. It's just a completely different existence. So it's tough. I don't know what the next week is going to look like, next 2 weeks. I frankly feel like I don't really have a lot of wind in my sails right now. I almost didn't make this video, but I keep thinking to myself, just do it for somebody out there who's going through a tough time as well, and might not have anybody to listen to, and uses my videos as a as a comfort. But as always, you have to continue fighting. We are the lucky ones. We are the blessed ones who have the opportunity to do these things. So we have to fight for the people that are not as fortunate as us. So you guys are seeing me train. I spent the morning with my grandma, got home to eat and freshen up, decided to get a workout in. And I was going to just walk out and upload a 10-second video and then call it quits. And then these thoughts started happening. Right now, it's at midnight. I'm recording this video, and it's easy to make videos when you're happy, when you've hit a PI. It's easy to go to the gym when you're feeling good. It's not easy when things are going against you. It's just seems to me that all the valuable things are hard to get, hard to work for. I'm gonna go through this period in my life, and what other options do we have? I'm gonna try and cherish these last moments with my grandma, be there for her, and just remember her, all the lessons she's taught me. It's hard, man. For me, training, even during these hard times, is very important for me. It's an escape. It's an asylum for me. I've seen people all around the world, in the sporting world, play during these moments. And I used to think to myself, man, like, just why don't you just take that time off? But it's almost like a coping mechanism. It's a release. And so that's what I did today. I thought about just coming in and squatting. And then I walked in and I thought I need to do something to release this energy, to you know, it's really weird, man. Like, when you do something for such a long time, when you dedicate so much of your energy, the body just does things. You can just do it without the brain being attached almost. It just seems to be, you can just go through the motions. So through a lot of this training session today, it was almost like meditation for me, man. Like, it felt good. It kind of got my focus into the right kind of frequency, if you will. You know, my grandma's journey is almost over. But all of our journeys are going to be over at one point. And so it's not the end, you know. It's all just how it's supposed to be. So I was just kind of having these thoughts when I was training, moving my body. I don't know about you guys, man, but when I sit down, like, I can think sitting down, but when I'm moving my body, my brain seems to function better. It seems to just, I have more clarity, but the meditation is better. It's almost like something else happens. I don't know. It's just really weird. Like, if I sit down and try to think about certain things, they come to me and whatnot. But when I'm moving, and especially when I'm doing stuff that I enjoy to do, it's just this much clarity. It's almost like the brain gets more blood. I can match these atoms together. These neurons kind of fire up a bit better, and I get a clarity. And so the training session today helped me. I went back to my grandma and spent a few more hours with her today. And I just kept thinking to myself, like, this is just a stage. This is just a stage, and it's not over. Obviously, there's a lot of deeper stuff attached to all of this. It depends on how religious you are and what you think about what happens after death, and what the purpose of life is, and why we're even here. Like, what is this thing? A lot of people turn to science, but science doesn't have all the answers. Religion doesn't have any evidence. It just seems to be up for grabs how you want to do it. For me, man, I've always believed in the soul. We all kind of believe what we want to believe, but I feel like there is a soul, and I think the soul goes on. The body might not, but the soul goes on. And so it gives me a comfort to know that my loved one's life might end, but the soul will go on. That's kind of what I believe. I grew up a Christian, grew up listening to being surrounded by these religious thoughts, texts, and then the civil war happened in Yugoslavia, and I kind of people doing all sorts of things in the name of God or whatever. It put me off religion, really, because how can these people do that and then reference God or whatever? If you're a God's man, how can you do the things that people do? And so, and then I grew up a little older, and I read some history, learned some history, and I'm like, the Crusades and all this sort of stuff, jihads and all this sort of stuff around Jerusalem, and so much violence around religion. And it's like, I believe in God, man, but I don't know, man, there seems to be so much violence around religion. One person sounds like a perfect argument. The opposite might present a perfect argument. It seems like religion just divides. I don't know why that thing is like that. I mean, I'm certainly not the one that has all the answers. But one of the pivotal things in the civil war in Yugoslavia was this religion thing. Like there was just three factions, three different religions, and I can't go with you because you believe a different thing. It's like, oh my Lord, man. Where did humanity derail, man? Why are we so aggressive to our fellow humans, man? And so I kind of lost a lot of faith, I guess, in what was written in some of these books. Even though I think both of the books, the Quran and the Bible, like if you read them, I've never read them, but a lot of people from both sides, like my best friend is Muslim. He grew up a Muslim, and he says these books, man, that they speak goodness, both sides. And I think the interpretation is by people who have, I don't know, power struggles or whatever, and they use these books to mobilize masses of people to go and do their bidding or whatever the hell it is, man. I just so I kind of moved away from that. I still believe there's a God and there's a soul and there's goodness. I don't care who you are or what you believe in or whatever. If you're a good person and you have a good soul and you want to help others, you're on my team, man. I don't care which way you pray or what you do, man. If you're a good human being, man, that's all that matters to me. In these situations, when you're dealt with end of life, it's these ideas that make all of this processing easier. I frankly cannot believe that it just doesn't feel right that after we die, that's it. If you believe that, then you believe that there's no soul. And to me, the paramount thing is this idea of the soul. I don't know. I mean, maybe science in another 1,000 years can explain it if this Earth is still spinning in 1,000 years. But right now, there's no explanations for the soul or whatever. But that's kind of where I stand with all of this, and that's what comforts me. At this moment in time, it's hard. It's hard to process all of this stuff, and I think religion does a really good job at this, at comforting people in these times. But it's hard. It's hard to select a side in all of this sort of stuff. And it's the ultimate questions. It's what philosophers would spend weeks on end talking about. What the point of life is, what's death, what's ego, all that sort of stuff. The big questions. And frankly, like if you immerse yourself in that sort of stuff, not even a lifetime is enough time for you to wrap your head around something like that. It's very deep. But really, those are the questions that we need to kind of concern ourselves with, not this other stuff that's going on around us. How to make a buck, how to do this, how to do that. It's really all about love and helping one another. That's what this whole thing is to me. If we're all concerned about those things, then, man, there will be nothing else to worry about. Anyway, guys, I'm just blabbering on right now. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out.